In this video, we will learn about FAT file system. First of all, we will discuss some theory and then we will see how an actual FAT file system looks like in disk editor. Okay, so what is a FAT file system? FAT is an acronym for File Allocation Table. This table provides the index of the files in the system and is statically allocated at the time of formatting the drive. It is widely used on USB sticks or memory cards for file storage. Now there are three types of FAT file system. The first one is FAT12, the second is FAT16 and the third one is FAT32. And the difference between them is that the FAT12 can store 12 bits value per cluster and FAT16 can store 16 bits value per cluster and FAT13 can store 30 bits value per cluster. Now there are two types of clusters in FAT file system. The first one is directory cluster and the other one is data cluster. Directory cluster is used to store information about file name, timestamp and starting file cluster, whereas data cluster is used to store file data. So what is the use of FAT file table? FAT file table provides information about clusters occupied by a particular file and each cell represents a cluster here. So let me show you file allocation table first. This is how a file allocation table looks like in disk editor. Okay, we will discuss this in great detail later, but let me finish the theory first. Now comes the FAT cell values. So let's first try to understand what each value means in file allocation table. 0 means the cluster is unallocated and it is free to store file data. FFF7 or FFF7 means it is a bad cluster. FFF8 or FFF8 means the file is ending on that particular cluster, and all other values mean the cluster is allocated. Okay, so now let's try to understand this picture first. So first of all comes the boot sector in a FAT file system. First of all, boot sector area is reserved on the memory space. So what information can we get from boot sector? So boot sector gives us information about FAT type, FAT size and root directory. Now let's see how a boot sector really looks like in a disk editor. Let's go to boot sector. So this is the boot sector. In boot sector we get information about FAT type. So as you can see, it is FAT12. Sectors per cluster is 1 and the size of each cluster is 512, which is in bytes. There are 2 FAT copies. In every FAT file system there are 2 file allocation tables. This makes sure that if something goes wrong in the first file allocation table, then the second one can be used to retrieve data from the FAT file system. And you can see there are other information as well, like you can get information about hidden clusters. You can get information about total number of unused sectors, and total number of sectors on the disk is 2880. Now let's try to understand the root directory. In root directory you get information about the starting cluster of the file and the size of the file. As you can see, this image is representing a root directory. So as you can see, this image.jpg is starting from cluster number 2 and its size is 1200 bytes. Now let's go to the file allocation table. Since the starting cluster of image.jpg is 2, we got this information from the root directory, and from file allocation table we will get information about the rest of the clusters occupied by this file. So if we go to the cluster number 2, it tells us that the next cluster is 3. If we go to cluster number 3, it tells us that the next cluster occupied by the file is 4. And if we go to the cluster number 4, it tells us that the file is ending on cluster number 4. Similarly, file.doc, it has a starting cluster number of 5 and its size is 980 bytes. So if we go to the file allocation table, it tells us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 6, and if we go to the cluster number 6, it tells us that the file is ending here. So basically, root directory gives us information about the starting cluster of the file, and file allocation table gives us information about the rest of the clusters occupied by a file. Now let's see how a root directory and file allocation table looks like in a disk editor. So this is a root directory. As you can see, it is written here. There is a file by the name of file1.txt. Its size is 598 bytes and its starting cluster is cluster number 3. As I told earlier, that in root directory you will get information about the starting cluster of the file and its size. So as you can see here, file1.txt has a starting cluster this file is starting from cluster number 3 and its size is 598 bytes, and there is also a directory by the name of dir1. So since we got this information from the root directory that file1.txt is starting from cluster number 3. Now if we go to the file allocation table, and if we go to the cluster number 3, now we are at cluster number 3. So what information do we get from file allocation table? File allocation table gives us information about the rest of the clusters occupied by the file. So as you can see in this file allocation table, the starting cluster of file1.txt was cluster number 3. Now we are at cluster number 3. Now the cluster number 3 is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 4. Now if we go to the cluster number 4, EOF is written on cluster number 4. It means that the file is ending on cluster number 4. So the file1.txt is occupying only 2 clusters, cluster number 3 and cluster number 4. This is how a fat file system works. Now let's try to understand the next image. This image is representing a root directory, and the image in red, yellow and blue are representing subdirectories. So this is how a root directory looks like. Let's try to understand in this image first. So in root directory, assume that this is a root directory. In root directory you get information about the starting cluster of the file. As you can see here, file1.txt has a starting cluster of cluster number 4, and file2.txt has a starting cluster of cluster number 6, and there is also folder number 1 and folder number 2. Folder number 1 has a starting cluster of cluster number 7, and folder number 2 is starting from cluster number 8. Now let's see how a root directory looks like in a disk editor. if we go to the root directory, this image is very similar to this actual root directory. So it gives us information, root directory gives us information about the starting cluster of the file. So here, as you can see, file1.txt has a starting cluster of cluster number 3. Now if we go inside this folder number 1, then we will get to see a subdirectory, and the first entry is this dot entry. This dot is representing the uh, current subdirectory. As you can see, folder 1 has a starting cluster of cluster number 7. So as you can see here, starting cluster is cluster number 7. It means that this dot is pointing to this current subdirectory. Now we see this double dot is representing its parent directory. As you can see, its starting cluster is 0. It means that it is pointing towards the root directory. There is also a file number 3 and a folder number 3. So as you can see, the starting cluster of file 3 is 9 and starting cluster of folder 3 is 11. Now if we go inside this folder 3, we will get to see another subdirectory, and let's similarly, this dot is representing a is pointing towards the current root current subdirectory. As you can see from this image, that the starting cluster of this subdirectory is 11, and this single dot is pointing towards the current subdirectory. You can verify this information from this entry here, that folder number 3 has a starting cluster of cluster number 11, and this double dot is representing the parent directory of this subdirectory, which is this this image in red. And you can verify this information from this cluster number 7, that the starting cluster of this this subdirectory is 7, and you can see here this double dot is representing its parent directory. Now there is another file and another folder. File number 4 has a starting cluster of cluster number 12, and folder 4 has a starting cluster of cluster number 13. So let's do some practical here. So right now we are in the root directory. Then there is a folder of dir1. There is 5. Now if we this directory, we will get to see the these entries just like represented in this image. We will get to see this subdirectory. As you can see, this dot here, this dot is pointing towards this current directory, and it has a starting cluster, cluster number 5, which you can verify from this value here. And this double dot is has a starting cluster number 0, which means that it is pointing towards the root directory. So root directory is the parent directory of this subdirectory. You can verify this from here. Right now we are in dir1, which is a subdirectory. So now let's try to understand the next image. This is a uh, this is a file allocation table. So let's try it all, and this is a file allocation table, and all these values are in hexadecimal. So let's try to understand how a file allocation table works. As you can see, this file1.txt is starting from cluster number 3. Now if we go to the cluster number 3, it tells us that the file is ending here, which means file1.txt is occupying only one cluster, which is cluster number 3. And now let's try to understand this entry. Nature.jpg has a starting cluster of cluster number 4. Now if we go to the cluster number 4 in file allocation table, here as you can see this cluster number 4, number 5 is stored here, which is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 5. Now if we go to the cluster number 5, it is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 8. So if we go to the cluster number 8, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, here it is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 9. And if we go to the cluster number 9, it is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 10. And if we go to the cluster number 10, it is telling us that the file is ending here. So the nature.jpg has occupied cluster number 4, 5, 8, 9 and 10. It has occupied 5 clusters. So this is how a file allocation table works. Now if we go to the file allocation table, we can see that it exactly works as represented in this image. So as you can see here, this we are right now at file1.txt, and it is at cluster number 3. Now the cluster number 3 is pointing towards the cluster number 4. If we go to the cluster number 4, EOF is written here, which means end of file. It means the file1.txt has started from cluster number 3 and is ending on cluster number 4. Now if we go to the next cluster, you can see the value here. Right now we are in dir1 directory in a subdirectory. We are right now in a subdirectory by the name of dir1. So this dir1 is ending on cluster number 5. It means it is occupying only one cluster. Now if we go to the next cluster, you can see the value has changed here, which is now file1.jpg. It means file1.jpg is starting from cluster number 6. Right now we are at cluster number 6, but number 7 is written on cluster number 6, which means that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 7. If we go to the cluster number 7, value 8 is written here, which means the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 8. If we go to the cluster number 8, it is telling us that the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 9. If we go to the cluster number 9, value 10 is written here, which means the next cluster occupied by the file is cluster number 10. Similarly, if we keep reading these values, we will reach the cluster number 23, where value EOF is written, which means end of file, which simply means that file1.jpg is ending on cluster number 23. So this is how a file allocation table works. Let me tell you something is left to teach you. Now let me tell you one more thing, that there are always 2 file allocation tables in a FAT file system. This makes sure that if something happens to the if something goes wrong in the first file allocation table, the second one is there to retrieve the data for us. So that's all about that file system. I hope you got something to learn from this video. See you in the next video.